Smoky.
Smoky.
Smoke in the air,
Smoke in
often
the
from
air,
wildfires,
often
which
from
can reduce
wildfires, which can
visibility
reduce
and air
visibility
quality.
and air
So
quality.
this is actually
So
what it
this
looked
actually
like.
what it looked like.
I'm not sure if
I'm
this
not sure
picture's
if
from
this
that, but
picture is
this is
from
what
that, but
the
this
sky
is
looked
the
like
sky
on
looked like
Tuesday,
on
I think,
Tuesday, I
or was it
think,
Wednesday?
or Wednesday.
One of those days.
One of
It
those
was just
days.
very,
It
very
was just very,
orange.
very
It was
orange.
kind of
It was
odd.
kind of odd.
It was the middle
It
of the
was the
day.
middle of the
My
day.
solar
My
panels were
solar
not
panel
producing
was
any
not
power at
producing any
all,
power at
even
all,
though the sun
even
was
though the
shining,
sun was
because
shining,
it
because
just
it
looked
just
like
looked
this.
like
It was
this.
very,
It
very
was very,
smoky.
very smoky.
Now, if you're
Now,
wondering
you're
why
wondering
smoky
why
doesn't have
smoky
an
doesn't
E in
have an
it,
E in it,
there are two
there are
versions
two
of it.
versions of it.
I think if you're
I think
talking
if you're
about
talking
Smokey the
about
Bear,
Smokey the Bear,
like a character,
like
a proper name, it
a
has
proper
an
name, it
E.
has an E.
But if you're
But
talking
if you're
about
talking
this,
about this,
where there's lots of
where
smoke, you use
there's lots of
smoky. So
smoke, you use
smoke in the
smoky.
air,
Smoke in the
often
air,
from
often
wildfires,
from
which can reduce
wildfires, which can reduce
visibility and
visibility
air
and
quality.
air quality.
So right now,
So right
it's not
now, it's
only,
not only.
let's look
Let's
outside
look
again.
outside then.
It's not
It's
only
not
smoky
only
if you
smoky
look
if
in
you
the
look in
distance
the
on the
distance on the
horizon,
horizon,
but you would also
but you
say
also
it's
say
probably
it's probably
hazy. And then
And then
air quality
air
is
quality
pretty
is
low
pretty
right now. In
low right
fact,
now. In
Jen,
fact,
who's been
Jen, who's
outside
been
more than me,
outside more
can
than me,
feel it in
can
her
feel it
throat.
in her throat.
She's starting to
She's
get a
starting to
bit
get a
of
bit
a
of
sore
a
throat.
throat.
Air quality,
Air
let's make this
quality.
as
Let's
big
make
as
this as big
possible.
as possible.
How clean or polluted
How
the air
clean or
is
polluted the
and
air
whether it
is,
is
whether
healthy
it's
to
healthy
breathe.
to breathe.
So you can see
So you
here,
can see here,
Toronto Air
Toronto
Quality
Air
Health
Quality
Index.
Health Index.
Orange warning for air
Orange
quality. It is a 9, which is
air
high
quality.
risk.
It's a
And this is
nice
for
high risk
yesterday
for
at 2
yesterday
o'clock. So
at
as
2
I was
o'clock, and
making
was
this
making
lesson,
this lesson.
the air quality
The air
yesterday
quality
was
yesterday was
9 out of
9
10.
out of 10.
So it was high
So it
risk
was
to be
high risk to
outside.
be outside.
When the air
When the
quality, which
air
is how
quality, which
clean
is
or
how
polluted the
clean
air
or
is
polluted the air
and
is,
whether it is
and whether
healthy
it
to
is
breathe.
healthy to
When
breathe.
the air
When the
quality
air
is
quality
this
is
high,
this high,
they
they
recommend that
recommend
children
that
don't
children
go outside,
shouldn't
people
go
with
outside,
breathing
people with
problems,
breathing
old
problems,
people,
old people,
that they stay
that they
inside
stay
where the air
inside where
quality
the
is
air
better,
quality is better,
or that they
or
wear
that they wear
an
an
N95 mask
N95
in order
mask
to be
in
able
order
to
to be
breathe
able to
better.
breathe
So
better.
air quality,
So air
how
quality,
clean or
how
polluted
clean or
the air
polluted the
is
air
and whether
is,
it is
and
healthy
whether it's
to
healthy to
breathe.
breathe.
Downpour.
Downpour.
So we're shifting
So
through a
shifting
number
through
of
a number of
different
different
advanced weather
advanced
words for
weather
different
words
kinds of
for
weather.
different kinds of
So we
weather.
just did
So we just
smoky and hazy and
smoky and
air
hazy and
quality.
air quality.
We're going to move
We're
into
going to move
things
into
related
things
to
related
rain.
to rain.
So a downpour
So a
is a
downpour
short
is a
period
short
of very
period of
heavy
very
rain.
heavy rain.
So you can get
So you can
caught
get
in a
caught
downpour.
in a downpour.
So when we talk
So
about
we
a
talk about
downpour,
a downpour.
it's a time
It's
in the
a
day
time
where
in the
it's
day
not
where it's
raining,
not raining.
and then suddenly
And
it
then
is
suddenly
raining,
it is
and then
raining,
it stops
and it
raining.
stopped raining.
So you'll often
So
hear
you
people
often
say
hear
this,
people
there was
say
a
this, there was
downpour
a downpour
while I was
while
driving
I
home
was
from work.
driving
I
home
had to
from
put
work.
the
I had to
windshield
put the
wipers on
windshield
high.
wiper on
Or
high.
I forgot my
I forgot my
umbrella,
umbrella,
and as I was
and as I was
walking
walking
from work
from
to
work
go out to
to go
lunch,
to
I got
lunch, I
caught
got
in a
caught in a
downpour.
downpour.
So basically,
So
a short
basically, a
period
short
of very,
period of
very
very,
heavy
very
rain.
heavy rain.
If we got
If
a
we got
downpour
a
right
downpour
now,
right now,
it would
it would
increase
increase
or
or
improve, sorry, it would
it
improve
would
the air
improve the
quality
air quality
because the
because the
downpour would
downpour
remove
would
the
remove
smoke
the
from the
smoke
air.
from the air.
Hopefully we do
Hopefully we
actually
do
get a
actually
downpour.
get a downpour.
There's two
There are
nice
two
things
nice
about
things
rain
about
during
rain
wildfires.
during
One, it
wildfires.
puts out the
One, it puts
wildfire.
out
And
wildfire.
two, it
And
makes
two,
the
it
air
makes the
quality
air
better.
quality better.
Torrential rain,
Torrential rain.
extremely
Extremely
heavy rain that
heavy
can
rain that
quickly
can
cause
quickly
flooding.
cause flooding.
Now, you might
Now you
think
might think
that because
that
Ontario,
because
Canada,
Ontario,
the
Canada,
province where I live,
the province
is in the
where I
middle
live
of
is the
North
middle of
America,
North America,
and it's not in
it
a
is not
tropical
in a
area,
tropical area,
that we would
that we could
not have
not
torrential
have
rain,
torrential rain.
but we do
But we
actually
do
every once in a
actually
while.
have
In
once in a
fact,
while.
a couple of years
In
ago in
fact, a couple of
Toronto,
years ago
they had so much rain
in
that you can
Toronto,
see
there's so
the
much rain that you can see.
so I just call this the
Just call this
TTC.
the
I'm
TTC.
I'm trying to think of the proper name for it, but the TTC or the light rail system was underwater. It was halfway underwater, and you can see these police officers wading through the water. Here's another word for you. When you wade, it's when you walk through water. So they are wading through the water, WADING, in order to go and see what's happening with the train. So torrential rain, extremely heavy rain that can quickly cause flooding.
flooding.
On the farm,
On
we
the
do
farm,
not
we do
like
not
torrential
like
rain.
torrential rain.
We like
We like
long, soft rain. Like if it just rains a little bit for 12 hours, that's the kind of rain that we prefer.
That's we prefer.
Scattered showers.
Scattered showers.
So if you look
So
at
you
this
look
weather
at this
map,
weather map,
you can see,
you
oh,
can
that's a little
see
too big. Short periods of rain that happen in some places, but not everywhere. So if you know how to read weather radar, when you see the red and the purple, that's very heavy rain. And the green is light rain. And the gray is probably just, it's probably just overcast and not raining. Or it's maybe just spitting a little bit. Or it's a little bit of a sprinkle. So scattered showers would be a day like this, where it might rain for a bit and then stop. There might be a downpour and then the sun comes out and then it rains again. So scattered showers, short periods of rain that happen in some places, but not everywhere. These are kind of, this must be American. Because look at those temperatures. This is definitely an American map. Oh, and you can see in the forecast, scattered showers, storms possible in the evenings. And it looks like I cut off the next word there. So scattered showers, short periods of rain that happen in some places, but not everywhere. Severe thunderstorm. So a severe thunderstorm is a dangerous storm with strong winds, large hail, heavy rain, or even tornadoes. So it doesn't have all of those things. And this is another thing that has started to happen here in Ontario, Canada, and around the world more often, I think. Quite often they'll say severe thunderstorms this evening. They're forecasting severe thunderstorms, winds up to 100 kilometers an hour, or possibly, or hail possibly. So hail is when the raindrops freeze on the way down and they turn into little balls of frozen water. Hopefully they're not that big, by the way. Hopefully they're just little tiny ones. But anyways, a severe thunderstorm is not nice. There's usually a lot of thunder and a lot of lightning. There could be hail. There's usually high winds and then lots and lots of rain. And then sometimes a tornado, which is, we sometimes call it a twister. We don't experience those in my part of Ontario, Canada, but if you go west, they do happen from time to time. So severe thunderstorm, a dangerous storm with strong winds, large hail, heavy rain, or even tornadoes. Blustery. Windy with strong changing gusts of wind. So a couple words here. Blustery means it's windy. So when you walk outside, you probably have to lean into the wind. But blustery also means the wind, in my opinion, changes direction and speed quite rapidly. So as you're walking, the wind is blowing here, and then it's blowing here, and then here. And it's like when you walk between a building, the wind hits you from a different direction. And then you might be walking in the wind, and then it stops for a little bit, and you walk some more, and it stops. So blustery, windy with strong changing gusts of wind. Gale force winds. Here we go. Very strong winds that can damage trees, buildings, and power lines. So if you hear on the news that there's a storm coming and there are going to be gale force winds, you need to prepare. Here's what I do if they say gale force winds, which are probably winds above 100 kilometers an hour. I'm not a weather, sorry, what is it? I'm not a meteorologist, so don't quote me on it. Here's what Jen and I would do. We would make sure we have gas for the generator in case the power goes out. Now I would charge my solar battery pack so that we have power. So if my solar system batteries are at 50%, I would start bringing them up to 100% in case the power went out. We would make sure, did I say this, that we had gas for the generator. We would make sure we knew where our extension cords were. And we would make sure on the farm that there was nothing outside that could blow away. Okay? And then we would just wait for the storm to come. And it would not be super enjoyable. I do like a good storm. I don't like a storm with gale force winds. Muggy. Warm and very humid, making the air feel sticky and uncomfortable. So I think I've taught this word before, and when I teach this word, I always say, years ago, I went on a trip to South Africa, and the weather, the temperature was in the high 30s every day, but it wasn't muggy. And it was actually not that bad. When the air is muggy and it's 36 degrees, it feels much warmer. And here's why. When there's a lot of moisture in the air, when the air is warm and very humid, it makes the air feel sticky and uncomfortable. Because when you sweat, your sweat doesn't evaporate as quickly. At least I think that's why it feels that way. And it just feels like you have a blanket on. If you've ever experienced humid, muggy weather, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's like going outside and it's 35 degrees, and then it feels like you have a blanket of air on you, making you even warmer. So muggy, warm, and very humid, making the air feel sticky and uncomfortable. Not nice. Here in Ontario, it's always humid and always muggy in the summer. That's just part of the weather. In South Africa, it was great. I really, really liked it. UV index. Let me get this as big as possible. How strong the sun's ultraviolet rays are and how quickly they can damage your skin. So you can see here, this is the weather forecast for today. 28 degrees, not too bad. Chance of showers, sunny becoming a mix of sun and clouds in the afternoon, high 28, humidex 31. So there you see humidex. So it will feel like 31. UV index 9 or very high. So today would not be a good day for me with my fair skin to go outside without suntan lotion on. If I went outside today for a long period of time, it would be important for me to wear a hat. I would probably wear a long sleeved, thin fabric shirt to protect myself from the UV rays. But UV index, how strong the sun's ultraviolet rays are and how quickly they can damage your skin.